All right, so first round in this encounter between Qagan Team and Universal Fighters is underway. Now, these guys have got slightly similar kind of kits on, but the distinctly green and black is the Qagan Team. And right there, as you can see, the giant UF is kind of like a greenish yellow sort of top. That is Universal Fighters of Dagestan, who are no strangers to competing on AIGA. Of course, they're the 2022 season champions. They competed in the 2023 Champions League as well, and are just really well known as some of the toughest competitors you can hope to face on the grappling circuit.
They brought a team out to Turkey. When AIGA went to Turkey, it made it to the final, Dagestan Combat Club.
Well, that's a different team. Universal Fighters and Dagestan Combat Club.
No, I'm saying that Dagestan was represented.
Oh, in general. Oh,
just generally Dagestan.
So many, I mean, we've had Team Nurmagomedov here at AIGA as well. Like, it's insane how many high-level grappling clubs there are of Dagestan. But I think Universal Fighters, I would go so far as to say I consider them to be the best, like most technical jiu-jitsu grapplers, hybrid wrestling jiu-jitsu grapplers there are in Dagestan. There are better guys for MMA, but I think purely in grappling competition, these guys have got the best game and the best results.
Look at the passing style.
Yeah.
Not a lot of space to breathe if you're the competitor on bottom.
This, of course, is the 65-kilogram division. On bottom is Tylerbek Baishev. On top is Ruslan Radzapkanov.
Now a little bit closer on the pass there momentarily.
Right as points are called as well. If he can settle down here, he could score. It looks like it.
He's getting close to it.
That's going to be a pass, surely. Man, that was like, that wasn't, if that wasn't a 3 count, that was like 2 3/4.
Yes.
Yeah, no points. No points. Just didn't quite have control long enough.
So Ruslan from Universal Fighters.
Big sweep! Wow, Baishev with an absolutely beautifully timed sweep from bottom there. Man, that just put him in a very good position indeed. A 4-point maneuver, and he is crushing him from mount right here. Mounted triangle, armbar, reverse armbar.
Nearly had a look at throwing that leg over. That could have been the end. This is a great spot. Qagan Team in their earlier matchup versus Battle Force.
Yeah.
Only won one of the rounds.
That was not a successful run for them. They went 6-1, yeah.
But a great opening start, at least in this round.
And I think that's going to be important because, you know, they managed to get one back right at the end of that 7-match series. They won the 7th match. Whereas if you can start with a victory, I mean, that's going to help your guys just go through and carry that, you know, momentum through the subsequent matches, hopefully, right?
It's a very real thing, I feel like, especially that's one of the things that makes AIGA so unique is that it's a team format.
Yes.
You could be the MVP, submit everybody you fight quickly, easily, and you still don't move on to the next round. And so there is that team element where everybody wants to coach. Everybody wants to help you in between the round. Everybody wants to prepare together and talk together and have that team camaraderie. And there is like momentum that goes along with it too.
Look at the movement here. Got the Kimura grip. Threading the left leg over, trying to get it into the pocket for the armbar.
43 seconds.
Doesn't quite have the angle. He's got the grip. He got the foot through, but yeah, Ruslan able to extract his arm from danger. 30 seconds left. 4-point deficit. You know, one thing that you will see, oh, wow. Nearly scored there, but, oh, into the triangle.
My goodness. 16 seconds.
Man, he's got time. He could make this work. No, he's gone on the platter now. I think Ruslan's out. He's managed to get his legs in. Yeah, that's it. He's out. Firing back with a leg lock as well. Wow, a lot of action right there in the last 30 seconds.
Round 1 goes to Qagan Team. Бұл кездесудің бірінші кезеңінде жеңіске жеткен Qagan командасы.
Well, that was a very interesting first round, and I think an important round for the Qagan team as well.
You see that sweep off of his opponent's offense immediately puts so much pressure on the mount, and you see this not even really necessary to go for with such little time left on the clock, but always trying to get the finish in whatever way possible.
Yeah, took the first round 4-0. Now, it's important to note as well that Baishev didn't compete in the opening round against Battle Force. That was Ulabek Abdiev in the earlier rounds. So he's coming out and he's fresh. And I think that probably helps too, right? But of course, so is Ruslan Radzakhanov. Now, second round, one in the bag for Qagan team, 4-0. And you know, one thing I can say just with, there's a takedown for Radzakhanov. Arm is compromised though. No, he's going to get 2 for that. That's better. What I was going to say though, Jake, is that if there's one thing I can say with real, you know, conviction about the Universal Fighters team, is that they're a very physical team. Like, it's jiu-jitsu. Don't get me wrong. What they do is no-gi jiu-jitsu. They have very, very legit, real world-class black belts on their team. Homegrown black belts. Their style is a little bit different. Of course, you know, it's a lot of people consider it almost like a hybrid submission wrestling style because they've taken the best elements of, you know, Dagestan culture of wrestling, and they've adapted that for the jiu-jitsu scenario. But there's just an intention and an energy behind everything that they do. You know, they're not relaxed. You know, they don't come out and like just technique and finesse their way to victory. If they win, they put it on everybody in front of them. And again, that's part of their culture. You know, they grow up hard in Dagestan. But man, if you're gonna fight a guy, you got to be prepared for a physical match for sure.
You know, I think that you're onto something with the culture. We got to talk to Javier Mendez, and he just described his time working with Khabib Nurmagomedov and how even his dad, Abdullah, he raised Khabib in all of these different martial arts training environments, like raised him knowing jiu-jitsu and knowing wrestling. And I mean, you even know the stories, of course, of Khabib famously wrestling baby bears, you know, like.
Nice pickup on the single, gonna throw him down on the edge of bounds though, restart in the center.
But just to my earlier point, it's, man, there's just something special about the competitors who come out of Dagestan. There's something about, I mean, it's almost like there's something in the water, right?
Yeah, they make them tough. You know, I've heard Dagestan described as like a factory for combat athletes. You know, it's just a never nice Granby there, and comes up on top, does Radzakhanov, and in a good position from which to hit his own arm drag, and now he's on the back. That's going to be 2. But yeah, you know, there's just a never-ending assembly line of you know, young men coming through who are talented, motivated, and you know, just the culture that they have there. A sweep there from Baisiev on top, and now he gets a look at the back. Probably won't score 2 for the sweep, considering he didn't maintain control on the ground, but if he could run him down from here or throw in hooks, that'll score.
And continuing to fire for the back, now fashioning a seatbelt. It's not the tightest lock on the seatbelt, though. See him sliding over the top. And there he goes. Oh, and nearly an armbar.
Counter armbar. Radzakhanov nearly had it there. Baisiev actually put himself in danger, believe it or not, with the grip of the arms. And I think that looking at Radzakhanov, he's definitely one of the younger members of the team. When you look at Universal Fighters, you know, they've got some veterans. I mean, I'm thinking about guys like, of course, Mohamed Abdulkadirov, who's competing in the under-91. I remember watching him at ADCC all the way back in 2015. You know, he qualified by winning trials and went to ADCC, and they've got other guys like Bilarov and Gaibeg Ibragimov, and really, really tough guys. But then they've got the youngsters too. But I love this. Again, shift in momentum. Baishev now on top. And we've got 70 seconds remaining in this second round. But the Universal Fighters athlete is up 4-0, Jake.
So really, and you know what I think is happening too, Hal, is I think there might be a little bit of fatigue setting in, because I don't think that Talibek Baishev has really let his foot off the gas. Even though he's down by 4, like you said, he's just kept coming forward. And it's a drowning kind of pressure. You can even see Ruslan a little slow to get back up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a physical match, right? These guys, they haven't really settled into position very long at all. I would say it's kind of, characteristic of the under 65 kilo and lightweight matches. These guys, they're very, very fluid. They move a lot, right? Sometimes these exchanges are just non-stop scrambles. I definitely feel like the first round was kind of like the adrenaline dump, getting the energy out, and now they've settled into more of a rhythm. I think they kind of figuring out each other's patterns, and they feel where each other is strong, and you can learn a lot about somebody just 5 minutes of grappling them, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, look at that. There was a pickup on the leg right at the end of that second round, but it's going to go 4-0 the opposite way this time. It's 1 apiece now.
Round 2 goes Universal Fighter.
So it was 4-0 for Baishev in the first round, and it was the exact same score, 4-0 for Ruslan Radzakhanov in the second round, Jake. So, third round is now the decider.
It's certainly a really tight battle, and one thing that's important to keep in mind about the AIGA rule set is the discrepancy in score doesn't give you an asterisk next to your name. You just won the round.
Yeah, it's true, but still, it's just showing how even it is. If
yes.
They went 4-0 and 4-0 the other way, and that was a beautiful arm drag from that arm. I wish we could have seen the rest of that sequence, but this is the Qagan Team corner. And there is Universal Fighters.
It's very interesting. You see them pushing on the nose.
It's like the same thing as like when you get those breath strips, and it kind of pushes down on the nose. It helps open up the nasal passage, so you breathe in and you can just get more air in your lungs.
I just tried it. It
really
worked.
Does.
It worked.
It really does. Hey, listen, there's a method to what these guys do. Guard pull there from Baishev this time. Literally first 10 seconds of the round. And a much slower pace. But still, quick footwork there from Radzakhanov.
This is the last team matchup of this day of competition. We got 2 more tomorrow before we decide who is the representatives that will make it to the final round. Of course, we know El Leone pretty much secured their spot in the final, but we'll find out who will join them.
Yeah, Universal Fighters only compete once today. Battle Force only competed once today, whereas Qagan Team had, they're going to have 2. Tomorrow we'll see Universal Fighters versus Battle Force. That's always an interesting one. It's a tough match right there. When you see predominantly Kazakh team going up against a team from Dagestan. Respectful, but physical, tough. And then, of course, we'll see Italia 2.0 going up against brothers team from Brazil.
Shift in pace from Universal Fighters Ruslan Radzakhanov. Going a little bit faster on these guard passes, and it looks like now at this point Baishev has slowed down Points now in effect. Remember, under the AIGA rule set, first 2 minutes of the match, or first 2 minutes of the round, I should say, no points. This is the third and final round.
Man, this is good. This is good. Underhook crossface, oh, but nice recovery. Nice recovery there from Baishev.
Whoever wins this round wins the match. This is how he swept earlier. At the very beginning of this match, this is how Talibek Baishev swept, got into mount.
I thought we were going to see it again there for a moment. You know, you might not be, if you're watching from Europe or from United States, or anywhere out of the Central Asia or Eurasian sort of region, you might not be too familiar with these athletes. But I tell you right now, Jake, that these guys are, you know, prolific competitors on the UWW grappling circuit, where they have both gi and no gi formats. You'll see some of them compete on JJIF tournaments, which are real, but they're both really big in Europe and Asia. And like the guys from Dagestan are to the UWW World Championships, like Brazilians are to IBJJF. They win everything. If there's 3 people on the podium, 2 of them are from Dagestan.
Well, here we go.
Oh!
He looked directly at me after he did that, too.
At us like,
he looked directly at me.
He looked at us like
he knew exactly what he was doing.
And what? That's what. that's what I'm about.
Shout out, hey, real quick, shout out to side judge Damir Sadirov for almost single-handedly taking care of that.
He caught them and put them back into the stage. Oh, guillotine here.
Oh!
High wrist, high elbow guillotine. Man, that is tight. That is on.
This could be
over.
Sweet
right here.
justice. And
There
that's
is the submission.
Universal Fighters.
Ruslan Radzhabkanov gets the guillotine submission in the final minute of the final round. What an amazing finish after such a hard-fought match. Man, they are both exhausted, and I'm sure that Baishev from the Qagan team is just heartbroken because, you know, the hopes of the team resting on his shoulders in that opening match. But what an amazing finish there from Radzhabkanov.
Your winner from Universal Fighters, Ruslan Radzhabkanov.
Bu kesin sürecekse Kazakhstan'ın Universal Fighters komandasının ödülü ücreti Ruslan Radzhabkanov.
Wow. Radzhabkanov. I mean, you just can't stop fighting until the very final buzzer. He didn't even have to drop back. He just kept it on standing and tracked the movement, followed him as they went around. And this, of course, was right after he almost got launched off the stage.
Yeah, that is sweet justice, right?
Yeah,
because
maybe the motivation he needed.
Finds that guillotine and does not let go. And that high elbow guillotine, all you can really do is try to find an opportunity to spin. But when you're on your feet already, it's just a risky thing. You think about your neck and twisting your neck hard, and there's a lot of things that can go through an athlete's mind, but this was just so tight. There's no way he was going to get his head out of there.
You know, that's a big win for Universal Fighters. Radzhabkanov getting that submission in the final minute of the third round. Important victory.
Our next bout takes place in the under 76 kilogram division. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing Qagan Team, the Qagan Empire!
Şehrimiz sağlık ilgili savunmalara gelirse, Kelimenin kazanılışına, Kagan komandası ödülü şampiyonamız, Qagan Empire.
And his opponent, out of the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Kazakhstan!
Çok vuruşlar. Universal Fighters командасы өкілі шақырамыз. Kaziyev.
Okay, so this match will take place in the under 76 kilogram division. Both men competing for the first time here this weekend. Yerenbayev of Qagan Team in the black and green did not compete in the earlier rounds against Battle Force. And of course, Gaziev in the kind of yellowy green kit, looking for a leg. First time we've seen Universal Fighters here this weekend, and I gotta look at his posture, Jake. I'm feeling it looks like Gaziev wants the legs. You know, he was kind of like angling himself for a back step from top. He's controlling the ankles. He's not going forward. You know, he's pretty obvious he wants to play leg lock game.
Yeah, and he sat back for it a couple times already as well. I feel like they both want that, but Gaziev just
I would
seems...
say maybe one more than the other.
Yes, I was about to say, Gaziev is making his intentions a little more known. He's not as subtle.
Yeah, Yerenbayev on top. Excuse me, Yerenbayev was on top briefly, but we're seeing this guard versus guard. And I just wonder how long our referees will kind of allow them to work from this position before we see significant attacks. No meaningful attempts at trying to pass right in here.
Now that's a little bit of a deeper look momentarily.
That was interesting. Kind of started attacking one leg and then went to the other. And Yerenbayev fires right back and gets a big reaction from Gaziev, but I didn't see any real submission threat. It was more of a submission entry. Just a reminder, the Qagan team is a mix of athletes from Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, neighboring countries. They share a lot in terms of, you know, history, culture, and so on, but they're all very distinct nations with different identities, different languages, different practices. But it's nice to see them coming together to compete here in this tournament. And they actually had a tournament that were then invited to participate as part of this Qagan team. So they almost had like a qualifier, but it wasn't like they just selected the best guys. They're like, no, you want to get on the team, you got to earn it. So
that's when you know jiu-jitsu is getting high levels, when you have a qualifier to compete at a qualifier.
Yes, right. Yeah.
It's like it's like the Olympic trials process. We're getting there.
Interesting that neither of these guys have elected to come forward or come up at all, and we're over 3 minutes into this match now. Just sweep attempt. Gaziev, you can see the way that his legs are kind of crossed, almost like folded back. Both of them, actually.
Neither athlete willing to get up to try to pass. It's definitely a much different tune than the last fight.
Yeah, they're basically hand fighting from this seated position. And I'm like, yeah, you're not going to really win a match like that, surely. Well, that's what Gaziev wants. He just wants to draw Yerenbayev into something, into anything. Well, less than a minute now.
Look at that.
Interesting.
Oh, look at this.
Final 30 seconds, and Gaziev changes his strategy completely, comes on top, gets past the hips. And I'm wondering if they're going to give him any score for that. Oh, they would for this. Wow. Doing his best to try and hold position, but he's also on the neck.
At least momentarily he was, but it might not be enough time for him to actually secure the submission.
But he's going to get back points at the least, surely.
His other hook wasn't in.
It wasn't, and he didn't have the triangle close. So it actually ends 0-0, even though, man, he did more in that final 30 seconds than he did in the preceding 4.5 minutes.
Round one of the draw.
Seated guard for such an extended period. And man, he went into second, third, fourth, fifth gear from 0, right? Like he just, look at the change in pace right there.
It seems as though he saw an opportunity where perhaps his opponent was, I don't know, maybe being a little lackadaisical on the get-up. Maybe he got used to the flow of the match where they were both sitting. And that's a really good opportunity for you to, if you're going to go from 0 to 100 real quick, that's the best time to do it, when your opponent thinks that the pace is going to stay at that nice 25 miles per hour. Now we'll see how Qagan Team rallies back from that and what Yerimbayev plans to do.
Wow, we see a takedown attempt right from the beginning, which is very different, and thought we were going to see another off the top rope moment there, right? Definitely our referees, they jumped out of their chair expecting it, so that's twice in a row.
Yeah, Chief Judge Ulshus Dashanov has not sat down.
No.
He's not sat back down since Universal Fighters took the stage again.
Oh, wow, I see Gaziev even thinking about flying guard pull. A lot more action so far in this. I mean, that first round was quite obviously just a feeling out process, it appears.
Body triangle in the closed guard.
Man, that's tough to get out of. But he is quite a tall competitor for this division, of course. This is the under 76 kilos. 76 kilos is about 167 pounds, approximately. But he's tall for the weight class, that's for sure. Long legs. Now they're back into this kind of guard versus guard in the opening rounds. Let's see some more of that.
And that's looking like what's going to happen. This is just a lot of pressure coming forward. The
That's
reverse
nice
double
work.
underhooks.
That's really nice work.
Forces his opponent to turtle.
No points for the pin though. Didn't establish it, and it's still not even in the points period, remember.
Oh, but here's a choke. Oh, this is tight owl.
Arm in guillotine. Mounted arm in guillotine, it looks like. Can't quite see the other side.
Oh, and it just slips out.
Yeah. But still, look at this position now. Still no points active. They just called it like 10 seconds ago. But Gaziev is in a great attacking position here. And he even had his legs triangled from mount there briefly, Jake.
It's a lot of pressure. Now the arm triangle. This could be the beginning of the end, Howell.
Yeah, Yerimbayev trying to get on the telephone. That's like the primary defense, right? But
well, if he could find space, and before Ghazimagomed goes to the side, he could turn away and straighten that leg. Some people wrap around their leg and straighten their legs. That can separate your shoulder from your neck, but you're right. If your last-ditch effort, I need a little bit of space, yeah, answer the phone. But usually a nap is the only thing calling.
Well, they're going to hit a restart. Nice escape there from Yerimbayev. You know, he was in trouble. He was in real trouble there for a minute, but dealt with the submission threat. Managed to escape the dominant position. He's back in it with a chance now. Straight
Look
ankle.
at this. That could be an Aoki lock, Howell.
Yes, it is. He did get the torque on the heel briefly there.
Still 0-0, minute 30.
There's a lot of action for a 0-0 match, huh, Jake?
Yeah, I actually was surprised to say that it was 0-0. You know, I haven't said the word draw a lot when I've been announcing the results There's not been a lot of draws.
They haven't been. They haven't been. I'm trying. Let me see. I'll go back through the. I remember one round being a draw, and that was in Qagan Team versus Battle Force. And there was one 0-0 match that had a penalty, so it wasn't really a draw. It's been a lot of decisive victories here today.
Yeah, that was two team matches ago.
1 minute remaining now. Yerebayev in the black and green. Gaziev in the slightly different shade of green. It's not even yellow.
But much to your delight, both green.
I do like the color greens too.
Single leg. Yerebayev has the leg elevated. Oh, but he might get ankle picked off of a single leg attempt.
Runs him down, but runs out of space. 25 seconds remaining. Will they get restarted in that front headlock? No, they won't. Neutral restart. Still an opportunity to score here. 20 seconds remaining. There's a shot. Oh, high risk guillotine. Going high elbow.
Oh, this could be it.
He came close to
Oh,
it.
and that's it. Universal Fighters.
6 seconds remaining in the second round, and Gaziev gets the submission with the high elbow guillotine. Can you believe it? That's 2 guillotines in a row, Jake.
And the second fight that we've seen end like that. Just the last seconds.
Your winner representing Universal Fighters,
Bu kez sürecek seriyle Astana Universal Fighters komandasının UEFA Kazakhstan.
Wow. Very interesting. 2 submissions, 2 guillotines, 2 high elbow guillotines specifically. And there is Gaziev's finishing hold. Put an end to that match right there. There it is. Catches the neck, drops back, and gets the tap with only 6 seconds left on the clock. These Dagestanis, man, the guys from Universal Fighters, they just don't stop until the very final bell. Dangerous until the last second.
Our next bout takes place in the under 91 kilogram division. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing Qagan Team, Ramazan Qagan.
Kremlin kızıl vuruşuna Qagan komandası ökül çağıramaz. Karagöz Ramazan.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Muhammad Al-Ghanirov.
Ол 91 келіге салмақ дәрежесі Kremlin көк бұрышына Universal Fighters командасының өкілін шақырамыз. Muhammad Al-Ghanirov.
Third match in this series now between Qagan Team and Universal Fighters. Immediately pulling guard is Mohamed Abdulkadirov of Universal Fighters.
Oh, look at this.
Going for the armbar here.
Oh, and
Got
that's
it! No! Wow, what was going on? Some confusion there. Karakos is saying I didn't tap. Abdulkadirov had it completely stretched out, and he actually, man, he let go. He let go. And he would only let go if he felt that there was a real submission there. I'm sure of it. But
that was very interesting. That was
what
weird.
I
thought was going to be the fastest submission of the day.
But Karakos was like, no, I didn't tap, bro. Oof. I don't think Abdulkadirov will make that mistake again. And the referee didn't say to stop, so, you know. Man, I'm a little bit surprised that Abdulkadirov, you know, he's a veteran. As I said, I saw him compete at ADCC 2015. You know, the guy's been on the scene for a long time. He's a very high-level black belt. And I was surprised by his kind of generosity and his kindness in that moment and letting the guy off with that, you know. Usually these guys, you have to drag him off a submission. But
well, in the time you're talking about how nice he was, he is looking ruthless with that arm drag, which you've seen a lot of people do from the butterfly guard, the arm drag today, going around to the back, passes the guard, double underhooks.
Yeah, and I got to say, I think this is a bit of a mismatch, and I don't want to disrespect Ramazan Karakos, but Abdulkadirov is levels above most guys. He really is a very, very skilled grappler. Oh, I love the way he gets that kind of X of the feet for the armbar break.
And there he has it again.
Done. It is done. Less than halfway through the first round. Magomed Abdulkadirov gets the armbar submission.
Your winner representing Universal Fighters, Muhammad Abdulkadirov.
Bu kesişimdeki kısmiyetlerin Universal Fighters komandasının muhabiri Muhammad Abdulkadirov.
There's only 2 minutes 15
Universal
seconds
komandalık üyesi Brezilya
of that first round.
3-1 aldı. Universal Fighters
And
komandası.
that's 3 submissions in a row for Universal Fighters. Here's a look at the armbar. What I like about this is the technical arm break to break the grip. The way that he actually used both feet and kind of like an X configuration on the far bicep to separate the grip. Very powerful armbar break.
He kept the legs locked around it too, which made it so that his opponent couldn't reestablish that gable grip to defend. Very technical.
Very technical indeed, and you know, against a tough customer as well. You know, it wasn't easy in getting that arm stretched out, but this time he didn't wait. This time he waited for the tap. He didn't let the guy out. Nice finish there from Abdulkadirov.
Our next bout takes place in the under 70 kilogram division. Introducing first out of Qagan Team,
Жетпіс келіге дейін салмақ дәрежесі. Кілемінің қызыл бұрышына Qagan командасы көкін шақырамыз. Тияс Қайнабеков.
and his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Kagan.
Кілемінің көк бұрышына Universal Fighters командасының өкілін шақырамыз. Магомедбек Темеев.
So how every team matchup today has been won with a blowout in the first 4 rounds. The first 4 rounds of competition, it has been 4-0, winners decided.
Well,
Universal Fighters finds himself in that same spot.
yeah, you're right. I mean, Al Leone went 7-0 against Italia. Battle Force went 6-1 against Kagan, and they went 6 matches in a row, and then only the final match they lost. Al Leone went 7-0 against Brothers. And right now, we're seeing another one-sided encounter with Universal Fighters versus Kagan. 3 in a row so far. Wow, look at that. Just
My goodness.
A level change and a little penetration step. And you had a big reaction from Kanabekov. Now, Tamiv Magomedbek, We've seen him compete here in the... Nice interception. Seen him compete here in AIGA. And tough, technical, dynamic, physical, as you would expect from all of the Universal guys. And again, another one of these guys with lots of experience in the UWW. But I like this. I like this from Kanebekov. Looks like he's going to come out in the back.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, he is. He's got a hook in. He's got chest to back. Can't see the grip of the arms, but it looks like he's gripping behind one of the legs. May have seatbelt, may not. But trying to figure out how he actually Houdini'd his way out of that situation, Jake.
He had a Kimura, so there was one arm with a deep underhook and another with a shallow one for the double underpass by Temiev Gassan. And then the Kimura trap came, and he maneuvered that into this back take. We'll probably see a replay of that if the match goes to a second round.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he is Temiev Gassan on the scoreboard, because he's Temiev Magomedbek when you see him in, you know, Smooth Comp or tournament signups or his Instagram. But right on here on the scoreboard, we got him as Gassan. Yeah.
The team at AIGA came to me before I announced the name and wrote down.
Told you to change it?
Gassan. So that's why I just did what I was told.
Oh, of course. It's kind of interesting that he changed his name from last year. He was known as something else, but who knows?
The fourth of 7 matches between Qagan Team and Universal Fighters. Universal Fighters currently stands 3 wins. Qagan Team has yet to find their win in this team matchup. And interestingly enough, how their sole win in the matchup versus Battle Force came from Toktorabai Zuzupulu, who is not on the roster for this matchup.
Yeah, in fact, I was looking at the roster for Qagan Team is actually completely different to their roster for Battle Force. There is not one returning athlete, believe it or not. They brought a big squad.
3 points after that guard pass. Tight connection from Temiev Gassan. Looking for Neon Belly.
Somewhat of a slower pace in this match compared to the last couple. And obviously, we saw such a quick finish in the match with Abdulkadirov. Gaziev had a scrap against Yerenbayev, and of course, Radzakmaknov. That was a war against Baishev, so. But 3 submissions in a row. Can Temiev keep that going? Oh, there's a nice guard pass. Doesn't quite establish position, but came close.
Universal Fighters is going to take round 1.
Yes, they are. 3-0 for Temiev.
Round 1 goes to Universal Fighters.
Jack Benedict Ball is in the Universal Fighters команда сутуп алды.
So yeah, maybe we'll get a look at that early back take.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. That was pretty nifty.
But nonetheless, this was the tail of the match.
Yeah, the scoring moves from Temiev are really what counted, right?
Well, a lot of pressure from on top. Pretty patient, measured approach 2 more rounds like that one or a submission, and Universal Fighters will join Battle Force in being a team with 1 victory. As it stands right now, Battle Force has 1 victory. Al Leone, 2 victories. Qagan Team has 1 loss. Team Italia 2.0, 1 loss. And Brothers, 1 loss. Shoots for the far leg. Now in the front headlock situation. Tamabyakov circling. Maybe looking for an opportunity to sneak those arms in deeper. Or perhaps circle to the back. Long, lanky arms are able to get this anaconda lock through, but as you can see, Temiev able to keep his left shoulder separated from his neck. If he's able to keep on doing that, no choke.
Right, you keep your shoulder open nice and wide like that, it kind of takes off the pressure of the anaconda, but opens you up to the threat of the guillotine. So there's an interplay, isn't there, between those front headlock series kind of attacks, but that was a nice back spin to the back, but it looks like, oh yeah, Temiev does a great job in just shaking off Kanabekov. No points yet. 10 seconds until they're going to be called. And one thing I can say about Temiev is just that he just looks so composed.
All of the Dagestan competitors I've seen generally carry a very composed disposition.
They're very stoic.
Yes.
Until they get mad. Then they're not.
No.
But you rarely see them like display emotion. That's a nice knee cut right there. Beautiful.
Forcing his way through the half guard of Diaz Kanabekov.
And just keeping his opponent absolutely stapled to the mat, like 4 on the floor. Both shoulders, both hips, until he spins around now to get this back exposure. Knee right, that's going to be points as well. Nice
both
back
hooks
take.
In.
Working on the
and
neck.
A choke.
Could see the rear naked here now. It's getting tighter.
Temiev Gassan.
Kanabekov, how is he not tapping right now? Adjustment from Temiev. That's on. That's on now. Surely that's on. But yeah,
that
no
is
escape
going
from
to
that.
Do it.
Temiev, just a slight adjustment and was able to sink it in a little bit deeper. Gets the tap and the 4th submission in a row for Team Universal Fighters.
Your winner, representing Universal Fighters, Qagan Team.
Пол тестleri kullanıldığı seyircilik Universal Fighters командасы өкілі Qagan Team.
2 minutes and 16 seconds of the second round. Temiev Gassan with this rear naked choke submission victory. Gets the 4th submission in a row for Universal Fighters.
Әзірге жалпы командалық есеп 4-2.
I wondered initially what the reasoning would be behind him adjusting the choke. It looked like it was already in, but you can see in the replay, it was right on the chin, and then as soon as he adjusted it, that's when it went under. Interestingly enough, Damir Sadidov, he came over and he checked on his hand to see if he was asleep. He gave the thumbs up, almost like a knee-jerk instinct, and then he realized, I'm actually not okay.
Yeah, I mean, the adjustments, because sometimes the choke looks on to us, but obviously you feel it and you know if it's on or not, right? So Yeah, nice adjustment there. And another submission win for Universal Fighters.
Our next bout takes place in the under 60 kilogram division. Introducing first in the red corner, representing Qagan Team, Yilmaz Musabek.
Altı kelime sonuna verilirse, Kıdemine kızıl vuruşuna Qagan komandasının Qagan Champions Yilmaz Musabek.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Sadyuev Ramazan.
Kıdeminin kök vuruşuna Universal Fighters komandasının Qagan Champions Ramazan Saduyev.
All right, so this is the 5th match of 7. Now we move into the 60 kilogram division, the lightest of all the weight classes. 60 kg is about 135 pounds for those of you who don't speak metric.
Oh, here we go.
And there's an aggressive leg lock attempt early from Qagan, from Musabek.
Roar from the crowd. The crowd must love Musabek and
Kind of like
Astana.
a half spider guard, nogi. Like, that was cool. Like, you don't see that very much. A guy using the foot in the bicep like that with the wrist grip. You can only really do it when you're dry, but it's kind of cool. People playing spider guard and nogi.
It's like when people throw the lasso and nogi with both hands on the wrist. And I wonder what they're doing it for.
effective it is.
So, with that last victory, Qagan Team final round.
Yeah, it's going to be about to force all Universal Fighters depending on the result of their encounter tomorrow. Al Leone, of course, are confirmed to compete in the final tomorrow, but we will also still see brothers versus Italia. Are we seeing a guillotine here? Kind of a little difficult to see. Oh no, we're seeing a Darce choke. Now they've switched the angles, we can get a better look at it. He's got his shoulder nice and wide. Looks like he's let go of the Darce already, but
I suppose theoretically it is still up in the air who would be joining Al Leone.
I mean, it's either Universal Fighters or Battleforce. We'll find out tomorrow. Oh, thought he almost passed the guard there off the back step, but points are now active, of course. You hear the crowd chanting Ernaz. I feel like he's very, oh, nice. Flash
oh my
armbar.
goodness!
Wow, he threw that up very quick. We're going to get sweet points as well now, so Musabek goes up 2-0 for that. Caught the leg, knocked him down, came up on top, and now around the legs, forces turtle. Could also see a Darcy. Oh, look at the way he's trying to step over the top. Thought he was going to try and step over for the legs, but Saduev fights up to the top position, and now the score evens at 2 apiece.
Just terrific transitions.
You know, these lightweight guys, I got to remind myself sometime that you can't narrate everything that's going on because they cycle through positions so quickly, right, Jake?
Oh, yes. You have to give a holistic understanding for the audience at home. It's a perfect time to bring up stats and analysis because sometimes I can't even follow along. It's happening so fast.
Nice use of the single butterfly guard, but interesting to see that Saduev is staying heavy on that, even though his posture is quite far forward and he's got this overhook. Now he's looking to go like Japanese necktie. And that's the danger in playing that underhook half guard game from bottom in no-gi. But there's a nice roll, and That's going to be 2.
Beautiful sweep from the half guard right into the double under. Keeps him safe from getting immediately swept back or even getting put in a submission off of his own sweep.
You know, I can't help but think sometimes that underhook half guard position, it's kind of high risk, high reward. Because, you know, that underhook loses position, boom, you just get sucked straight into a DOS choke. But it's such a powerful attacking position so long as you mind your P's and Q's and you keep everything where it needs to be. And you hit that sweep like that, and it feels good, right? You just get that momentum, that off balance and roll that way from that half guard position. It's so good. Okay. First round in the bag. And that one goes the way of Qagan Team.
Round 1 goes to Qagan Team.
Жекпе-жек бұл кезеңнің Qagan командасы ұтып алды.
4 points to 2 for Musabek, who is walking around the mat. He's looking hyped up. Look at this. Doesn't need a rest, doesn't need a drink. He's storming up and down the mat, ready to go for the next rounds, while the Universal fighters taking their time, making sure that Saduev is refreshed and cooled down before the next round.
You know, some athletes...
And fixing his hair.
Yes.
That's an extra service. Get that for free.
I believe it was it Alexander Volkov that was getting his hair combed in the corner during a UFC one time.
Volkanovski?
No, Volkov.
Volkov.
No,
yeah.
Volkanovski does not have hair.
No, me and him, though, we do not.
Қымбатты достар, бауырымызға қолдау білдірейік әліге.
Second round, I'm wondering if they're going to score that too. He came forward right at, yes they will, yeah, he came forward as they, I kind of felt like Saduev was trying to pull, but he intercepted it by just blasting forward. But that sweep is not going to score. Saduev comes on top and he's actually in side control here. Lovely reversal, but only takedown score in the first 2 minutes, Jake.
Oh, look at this. That was very interesting. Ramazan is transitioning over to mount with an arm triangle, and Yilmaz Musabek kind of gave it to him. He allowed his right arm to be lifted up so easily. And I was wondering in my head, is he playing with the idea of a buggy choke? But he lifted his right arm. And this could be trouble.
You're absolutely right, it could. And only getting tighter. Looks like he's got a lockdown.
It's going to be a good way to give him a little bit of space, but Saduev is just pushing forward, continuing to put that pressure in spite of the lockdown.
Yeah, I feel like he's missing something on this arm triangle, because you can see how deep his hands are. He's got the hand on the forehead. It's almost like a rear naked choke style. And that usually means he's just not quite closing the gap quite enough, you know?
If he's able, and he's keeping this lock, I believe, to keep the arm in place, because he knows he doesn't have the ability to fully lock in the arm triangle. If he was able, in that situation, to bring his forehead to the ground, that would increase the strength of it so much.
But then the lockdown was preventing that as well, so...
What is this?
It's a mother's milk.
Oh my gosh! From the bottom! Oh my goodness! Smother choke from the guard! Dan Monosoyu, eat your heart out!
Yilmaz Musabek with the spectacular come from behind submission. I mean, out of absolutely nowhere, a mother's milk initiated from closed guard, rolled through, got the tap in the transition. I have never seen the mother's milk set up and finished in that way.
We cannot keep calling it mother's milk in a serious tone. I can't even take you serious.
We'll call it what you want. The result is the same. The submission stands, and Yilmaz Musabek, the hometown hero, gets the much-needed win. Just fighting for pride at this point.
Your winner out of Qagan Team, Yilmaz Musabek!
Бұл жекпе-жекте қылқындыру әдісімен жеңіске жеткен Yilmaz Musabek. Qagan komandası.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 41 seconds of the second round. Yilmaz Musabek gets one of the wildest submissions I've ever seen at AIGA.
It's one of the wildest submissions I've ever seen in my life. Smother choke from the bottom.
And let's be honest, Saduev was kind of really enjoying like the control and it. But look at this. He threw it up and I'm like, what is he going for? Ezekiel? And then no. Gets the roll through. And as they roll back into the close guard, Saduev, he was already tapping.
That's such an interesting thing to have just behold.
When he originally threw the arms up like that, I was like, oh, maybe he's just controlling the posture. Maybe he's just, you know, he's going to set up the Nogi Ezekiel from bottom, which we know is a legit move. But I've never seen the Mother's Milk initiated from bottom close guard like that and finished in the transition. That is one of the most unorthodox and exotic submissions I've seen in a long, long time. And Musabek gets a really nice highlight reel.
Our next bout takes place in the above 91-kilogram division. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing Qagan Team, Ruslan Askarov.
91 kelede жоғары салмақ дәрежесі. Кремнің қызыл бұрышына Qagan командасының өкілін шақырамыз. Ruslan Askarov.
His opponent, out of the blue corner, representing the Universal Fighter, Ruslan Abdullayev.
Кремнің көк бұрышына Universal Fighters командасының өкілін шақырамыз. Ruslan Abdullayev.
Well, what a difference in ring entrances from these two gentlemen. You got Ruslan Askarov of Qagan Team with the mask, looking fired up. A little bit of showmanship at the beginning. And then, coming in what looks like a hotel bathrobe, you have Ruslan Abdullayev, and they're like mock fighting even before the match has actually started.
For a second, I
thought Abdullayev was taking that serious for a second. He didn't like it, but then he's like, okay, I'll play the game.
I thought Askarov actually cut off his sleeves on his rash guard, and I feel like I remembered that was illegal in the AIGA rule set.
And then he just rolled them down. Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, here we go.
So this is the heavyweight division, plus 91 kilograms. And you got Askarov representing Qagan, but with the shot and the big takedown is Abdullayev, and man, he is one of the most experienced guys on the Universal Fighters team. Has a win over Luke Griffith, if you remember well, from the Universal versus Modolfo encounter there last year, Jake. Very, very difficult customer to handle because, you know, he's really wrestle heavy. And sometimes it's really hard to do jiu-jitsu against a guy who's just, no, I'm going to just manhandle you. I'm not going to play technique. Look at the way that, you know, he doesn't allow Abdullayev to kind of settle. He just breaks his balance, pulls his hip down to the mat. You see it again now on the other side. You know, he's controlling the wrists. He's breaking out those posts. This is just great example of how wrestling technique can be applied in a jiu-jitsu or grappling context. And I think that this is the kind of stuff that submission specialists can study and they can really take a lot from.
I think a big question you got to ask is, how do you score back on somebody like that? So when you get 2 points, 2 points feels like a much bigger lead when you're really hard to sweep.
Absolutely, yeah. You're going to have a real tough time taking him down. You're going to have a really tough time sweeping him. Really, if you're going to score points on the guy, it's going to be from back control, because you might be able to get his back, get him to kind of go to the sort of turtle referee position and throw in hooks. But yeah, sweeping this guy is a tall order. And of course, you know, Abdullayev is not just a submission grappler. He has a ton of MMA experience as well. And you know what it's like? You go against MMA grapplers, Jake, it just feels different to jiu-jitsu, right?
Well, I think that there's a certain rhythm you get depending on where you compete in jiu-jitsu nowadays. So somebody who's competed in IBJJF for a long time feels different than somebody who's competed in ADCC for a long time. So imagine somebody who's competed with the possibility of getting punched, kicked, kneed, and elbowed in the face and elbowed on the ground. There's a certain intensity that is demanded of an MMA athlete. Oh my gosh, there's...
Like a hammerlock almost.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was nice. Kind of caught the wrist, but actually it forced Askarov to kind of turn and give up the top position. Do you see the way that Abdullayev kind of adjusted his side control by almost like lifting up a little bit and then dropping his weight on top of Askarov, like just his torso, just like dropping it on his diaphragm. It's like those kind of rude techniques that you don't do in training, but man, they're very effective.
It's bully CPR.
That's a great label for it. You see, Askarov is having a tough time trying to find his way out from bottom here. And again, just destabilizing his balance constantly. Here we see again is that hammerlock. And now
it's called the 86.
Combining it with the knee ride. He's still got control of that wrist underneath. Oh, it's let it go now. But goes to the mount. Racking up points. Called the what?
The 86. You know when you get 86 from the bar and they carry you out like that? Just kidding, huh? Anyway.
Cop lock.
Yes.
6-0 for Abdullayev. He's just kind of feels like he's not even out of first gear here. He's just taking his time, just breaking down his opponents and just in complete control.
1 minute. And that right there, over and over doing that.
Nice recovery.
That motion where he's sitting him down to his hip, that may seem insignificant, but having to deal with that over and over and over and over again with him just weighing on you from the turtle position, it is very tiring, and it's hard to recover from.
Well, that's the tiring thing, because you get broken down, but then you've got to try and get back up again with his weight on top of you, right? So,
he's smiling. It's cool to see two competitors very friendly with one another.
Friendly but serious, yeah, yeah. Top half guard for Abdullayev, and going to try and free his leg here. Just needs the palm strike the inside of the knee. Now walking around. Wow. Again, 1-0 for round one.
Round one, go. The Universal Fighters.
Universal Fighters komandası aldı.
Of course, this is the penultimate match in this 7-match series. There is the entry, the body lock, the takedown. And to his credit, Askarov didn't hang out too much from the, when he got taken down. He was immediately up to his knees and trying to fight from this position, but Abdullayev, man, it's like watching a wrestling clinic right here. Because mat wrestling and feet to floor are two very different things as well, right?
Well, one thing I was really impressed with is just the consistency. He doesn't speed up or slow down, get impatient. It's just a consistent approach. Yeah, I think that it's, as a competitor, it's harder to deal with somebody who consistently goes 35 miles per hour than somebody who goes 75 in short spurts and the other times goes like 20. Because you can lull with them and you can get ready for those big explosions. But when somebody is just able to go the same speed, and it's exhausting.
There's a shot from Abdullayev, but look at the reversal. Beautiful use of the hook sweep. Throws Askarov over. Askarov could still wrestle out of here if he keeps going, but wow, Abdullayev, really nice back roll there. And he's straight back into his preferred position. He's smiling. He's having fun out there, Jake.
He's in his element, that's for sure. And Askarov is a willing dance partner for all of these wrestling exchanges. I imagine what the game plan must be for Abdullayev is wearing down Askarov the entire match until he basically gives him the choke or gives him the submission just from sheer exhaustion.
Again, just drags that hip to the mat. He's so sticky as well. He just doesn't give Askarov any space to kind of to move, to Granby out of, to sit out of. Oh, look at this. Kind of thought he was maybe going to drop back for like the seated sort of Kantakatami style. Very popular choke with wrestlers.
So Dorian Oliveira has used that in his time at with Team Kasai in the Brazil trials.
Just constantly leaning weight on him. You see when Askarov kind of posts that left arm, the Abdullayev just like leans all his weight on the back of the tricep and kind of like, yeah, you wanna make a frame with that? I'm gonna throw in the hooks. I'm gonna put all my weight on it and make you tired. Now he's gonna get back points. And this is the first time we've seen him even try to put the hooks in.
Now the arm is under these 3 points though.
Wrist lock, reversed wrist lock. Just Abdullayev is going for anything right here.
That's a lot of leg strength to be able to squat a big man like Ruslan Abdullayev on your back.
See the way that he took him back down from that standing 4-point position, just kind of kneed him in the back of the thigh to, you know, like when somebody taps the back of your knee,
yes,
you kind of buckle a little bit. He did the same thing, just kind of a little bump in the back of the knee and the guy collapses. You know, didn't waste his energy like you're saying, Jake. Didn't try to pick the guy up and, you know, throw him through the air. It was just like, bink, and then just takes him back down and continues on his merry way. He's got the gift wrap here as well. Mounted position, could see an armbar. No, he's going to go to the back and put the hooks in. And with just over 1 minute to work, still plenty of time to attack for a submission as well if he feels like it. Or not. Oh, look at that. That was a very dynamic armbar attempt there from Abdullayev. And actually electing to play guard. Doesn't even try to get up. 30 seconds remaining in the round.
Now it's Askarov wrestling up.
Look at the spin. Whoa. Whoa. The way that he span through into the top like that. I mean, Askarov was hanging onto the ankle and kind of could have let it go, but great movement from a big guy and great body awareness and control to land in a position like that.
It almost feels like we're commentating a friendly roll, Hal.
Yeah, it does. It kind of does. I mean, they're being friendly about it, but it's a wrestling clinic.
Round 2 goes to Universal Fighters.
Жекпе-жектің бұл кезеңін Universal Fighters ұтып алды.
Third and final round of the penultimate match of the day.
Oh, wow. You see that? That is one of the coolest single leg interceptions from a big man I've ever seen. That is high level timing right there. Just Super Mario'd his way over that. Wow. Yeah, it's a friendly wrestling roll, but man, there's a lot to be learned from this, actually. You know, Dagestan is not known as one of the hotbeds of combat sports, and particularly of wrestling in the world, for no reason. And, you know, Caucasus wrestling is well known. That whole region has produced just amazing, amazing grapplers, really part of the culture there. Such a rich tradition and history of even lots of different like ethnic styles and styles of grappling. You know, even they kind of look a little bit like judo, the sort of, you know, the jacket wrestling that the farmers and the hillsmen kind of practice. And then, of course, you know, the freestyle pedigree, just so strong. Sambo, and now with grappling, submission grappling and jiu-jitsu.
I don't know if you noticed that, Hal, but when Askarov shot in for that outside single leg, he immediately tried to lift Abdullayev. And instead of being able to lift him, Abdullayev just sat on the ground and once again did the butterfly hook sweep.
Straight into the mount here as well. A little before points are active, so he's got 2 for the takedown, but he's just, look at that, floating. Now that they've called points. I do wonder if he's going to kind of wait until right until maybe the last minute and score. Yeah, I just looking over at the Universal Fighters corner, and they're barely watching him. They're like, half of them are on their phones. Like, you know, one of them's kind of half watching. They're just like, yeah, we don't need to say anything to this guy. Yeah.
It's his wheelhouse.
It's indeed.
Oh my goodness!
What a submission right there. Halfway through the third and final round. Ruslan Abdullayev with the spectacular armbar. After putting on a clinic and a show, ends it with a nice submission.
Your winner, representing Universal Fighters, Ruslan Abdullayev.
Болжек Безектeki Universal Fighters командасы өңірі жеңіске жетті. Ruslan Abdullayev.
2 minutes, 35 seconds of the third round. Ruslan Abdullayev victorious via armbar. Leaving only one more match in this series between Ultimate Fighters and
Look, he tips him over and goes to the armbar. That is one of the coolest armbars I've ever seen. And that just shows I think the level of comfort he had in this matchup, Hal.
He probably could have done it at any time, but I love the way he was controlling the near side wrist with his left hand, used the right hand to basically just flip his opponent right over and drops straight into the straight armbar.
You know how strong your grip strength's got to be able to hold a covered in sweat opponent who is also very strong and flip them over to armbar them.
Didn't even need an oil check-in to get the flip either.
You're on one today with these jokes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final bout takes place in the under 83 kilogram division. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing Qagan Team, Olshas Dosimjan.
Бүгінгі кештің соңғы жекпедегі 83 келегеден салмақ дәрежесі. Қызыл бұрышқа Qagan командасы өкілін шақырамыз. Olshas Dosimjan.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Attilo Eldal.
Көк бұрышқа Universal Fighters komandasının ödülünü çağıramaz. Eldar Adilov.
The final fight of the day. I've been Jake Watson, joined by Howell Teague here at the Beeline Arena in Astana, Kazakhstan. This is Qagan Team and Universal Fighters.
Yeah, pulling guard early is Oljas Dosimjan of Qagan Team. On top in the kind of green kit is Eldar Adilov of Universal Fighters from Dagestan. And as you said, Jake, this is the final match, not just of this series, but of today. Of course, we're coming back with a lot more action tomorrow. We will have Alioni in the final. That is definitely confirmed, but we need to find out tomorrow. The winner of Universal Fighters and Battle Force will be determined as the other finalists. They compete tomorrow.
Oh, look at that.
That's a very unusual kind of little grip from bottom that kind of gave Adilov some problems there, actually.
It has a upside down reverse key lock, it looked like.
I've actually, I hate to admit this, but I've been hit with that, and it's goofy as hell, and it shouldn't work, but it can. I like this passing posture right here, though. Looks like he's got the body lock. It's over the top. Has managed to collapse the hook all the way to the side. He's got back exposure. There he is going around now. Adilov just calmly, methodically working his way to the back.
This is already troublesome spot for Dosimjan.
Yeah, and points haven't been called yet, but do note that the Dosimjan has a penalty against him for the guard pull with no contact. Important to note that you can pull guard with no penalty in the first 2 minutes, but if you do it with no grips, you will get penalized. Okay, we're seeing another clinic here. Adilov is just, I think, very, very confident in his ability to control Dosimjan.
Good usage of that butterfly hook to retain the guard.
Especially when it looked so compromised.
There's only so much you can do with the passing ability of Eldar.
Yeah, that's a nice pass. I like the way that Adilov had the underhook crossface, but was backstepped so far over. He was like lying on top. He had his ribs like on top of his opponent's face. So even if he tried to bridge, he probably wouldn't have got bucked off. And then it's just a step back in the opposite direction, come into the mount, and I mean, he's in perfect control here. Look at this. Heavy pressure, making him look away from him. Deep crossface underhook. Feel like he's probably going to climb his hips high for a submission here. I feel like if we don't see him go for like an arm triangle, which is always a possibility in Nogi, I kind of feel like the way that he's controlling the upper body, like that crossface and the underhook, with his hips high like that.
Karagatame is an option.
It is, but it kind of, when he's walking the hips high, it makes me think he's going to go mounted triangle or something.
Off that back take, scoops up the arm. He might be going for Kimura here.
Can't see there, it's a better angle. We can see the kind of the configuration of the hands, and that far arm is definitely compromised. Oh, now he's going near side.
Accidental kick.
It looked like a stomp, actually. I think he brought his foot up and was ready to put it down on the mat, and unfortunately the guy's face was in the way. So
yeah, and you can see that Adilov, he knew, he saw what he did on accident.
That's good sportsmanship. He's like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. He's going to let his opponent out and recover. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a grappling match. It's not an MMA fight. You don't want to actually hurt your opponent, but, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was a kick. It was a kick. Yeah, there it is. I thought it was a stomp, but you're right.
brought his foot on the inside. Well, it could have been a stomp. It was,
It looked like the
his
bottom of
back
the
was
shin.
turned to me.
Yeah.
But I just assumed that it was a kick. And looks like possible bleeding.
Yeah, it didn't look comfortable, that's for sure. Looks like he caught shin bone to the nose.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, go follow AIGA.global on Instagram and keep up with everything AIGA. Here's another look at it from a different angle. Boom. Right in the nose. Also, be sure to follow FloGrappling on Instagram. Subscribe to stay tuned with all the events that are streamed on Flow.
While you're at it, why don't you follow me and Jake at the same time? Jake Watson Media.
That is, yep, that's my handle.
I'm just Howell
On
Teague.
Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, baby.
Oh, there you go. I'm just Howell Teague. HYWELTEAGUE.
It's crazy to think tomorrow's our last day in Kazakhstan, Hal.
Not for me, it's not.
Well,
I've got Monday. I'm here, baby. I love Kazakhstan. Love visiting Kazakhstan. Love hanging out here. Hospitality is next level, and always a great time to see how jiu-jitsu is developing and being promoted here. The investment is crazy here in Kazakhstan, as you can see from the level of this event. World-class production, great jiu-jitsu, regular events, huge cash prize funds for 2025 Champions League winner.
oh, look at this.
Thought we were going to see a guillotine there from Adilov. Feel like Dossamajan's kind of woken up a bit after the restart. And look at that, good sportsmanship, pulling his opponent away from the edge of bounds with the single leg.
Oh, there's only 23 seconds left in round one.
Interesting leg lock entry. Nice escape from Adilov onto the guillotine as well. Manages to sweep off it.
Lots of guillotine attempts.
Headhunters, right? Absolutely, yeah. The Universal Team guys, they're like lions. They don't grab you by the ankle, they grab you by the neck.
Round one goes to Universal Fighters.
Жекпе-жектің бұл кезеңін Universal Fighters командасы ұтып алды.
And to your point earlier, how, being in America myself and just seeing the development of American tournaments and tournaments that take place in the United States, it's easy to forget that AIGA is doing amazing things on the other side of the world. Like we mentioned earlier, over 25 different federations of AIGA in different countries, 25 different countries, over.
I think the majority of the jiu-jitsu industry is focused very much on the Western Hemisphere, North America, South America, and of course that is where the best athletes in the world tend to be from. However, jiu-jitsu is a global sport, practiced all over the world. You can find jiu-jitsu in every corner, and there are some amazing athletes coming out of Europe, coming out of Australasia, and coming out of Asia in itself. And Asia is a huge continent that stretches all the way from the western edges of Russia, right all the way to Japan. And there's a lot of countries and huge population in between those points. And a lot of these guys love grappling and wrestling of different types. And when they discover jiu-jitsu and they find out that, hey, I can do this. Like my grappling can work in this style. They fall in love with it, and we get a whole new wave of new competitive athletes to come through. It's great, really great to see. Kazakhstan in particular has been a leader in terms of jiu-jitsu development in this region. I mean, they're by far the strongest team in this entire region, Central Asia. They really dominate. They produce, there it is, finish, just clinical, just so smooth. I mean, just manhandled.
You had time to exposit.
Yeah, in such a polite, friendly way. Adolov just very, very methodically worked the katakatami there and gets the win in the final match of this season series. Let's make it official.
Your winner representing Universal Fighters, Attila Eldar!
Bu kesiştirecek istediğim Abdülkarim Attila. Sonымен бұл командалық кездесуде жалпы командалық есеппен, яғни 6-1 жеңіске жеткен Universal Fighters.
Take a look at the replay of this. It really was that simple textbook execution of the katakatami head and arm. But the submission came so easily. Adolov was just in such great control. As you can see there, just got the squeeze, passed over to the side. It wasn't even a second later that the tap came. Let's bring teams on to the stage for the official result announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final round of the evening has been decided. Your winner, with a score of 6 wins, 1 loss, out of the blue corner, Universal Fighters! The athletes may now shake hands.